we're done. Why are you checking on me?
I mean,
Right.
she said she thinks you're a cool person.
No, Arlette. No. Sorry, Arlette. No. Don't even think about it. You told me what my value was when you left a trip that we should have really gotten to know each other on. You told me what that was when you said, I'm booking the flights. I'm not saying nothing to him. I'm not communicating with him. I'm pissed. I'm holding a grudge. He's over with. I'm done with this. Next. And then you want to check on him? No. Hey guys, welcome back to SJ TV. Let's get into this review of Pop the Balloon or Find Love with Eric and Jocelynn. Want to support the channel? Click the link in the description box.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's your host.
Oh, okay. She says, why is she there virtually? This is the same thing that Eric had the last time. He was there virtually. It's not looking good, folks. Let's see. She looks nice. Everybody looks nice. I like his dreads down. They fit him really well. Cool.
Arlette, and we are here today with Eric and virtually Jocelynn. Welcome, guys. How are we feeling
Hello.
She look over it. Sorry.
today?
Feeling good. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. Jocelynn, how are you?
I'm all right, doing good. Thank you for asking.
I'm all right. Okay.
Of course. So we did have you guys on episode, gosh, what episode was that? 12?
12, yeah.
Yeah, episode 12 of Pop the Balloon or Find Love, where you guys did.
Why Jocelynn got to have the Fozzie Bear blanket on her during this interview? Couldn't you have just at least like sat in a chair without a cozy? I get it. You at home, but okay. That's already telling me a lot about her interaction and her what's it called, efforts towards this entire process. She might be doing this just for the fact that she's able to be seen again. Maybe she's not doing it for the relationship.
End up matching. Okay, so is it going to be a yes for you for her?
Yes.
And is it a yes for you for him?
Yes.
We got a match! Okay, I'll take this mic and you guys can go on up.
Eric went full traditional on that day.
Look at y'all go. Let's give it up for them, y'all. Let's give it up.
Okay.
And then, so, you know, from that point, Eric, we've had you on a few episodes, so we know quite a bit about you by now. Jocelynn, I think on there, you told us a little bit about yourself. If you want to just let us know a little bit more, like, you know, where you're from, what you like to do, all that good stuff.
Oh, all right. Well, hey you all again. I'm Jocelynn from Prince George's County, Maryland. I'm just a regular girl working a 9 to 5. Not really that interesting.
I mean, I get it, sis, but I think what's so interesting about people, right, is that we go through our lives doing things and, you know, everybody has their different levels of survival mode. But when we say things like, I'm not that interesting, it doesn't exude confidence, even in just you. Like, you should be a big deal to you. That's just my advice to you, sis. Like, don't say you're not that interesting. You should be a big deal to you. You don't even have to exaggerate. You can have a level of enthusiasm, but it might be because of what's going on right now.
So yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. And so on the show, we saw like you didn't really get any pop balloons on you. You did all of the popping. And near the last round, it was between Eric and another gentleman, Brian. What kind of made you lean more towards Eric instead of Brian? Because I feel like a lot of people were like, man, I felt like she was vibing with Brian. Like, I don't know if you felt that as well, but what kind of like helped you narrow down your thought process between the two of them?
Brian just didn't seem as genuine. It seemed like he was a flirt, and it didn't really seem like his words had actual meaning behind it. So that was one of the things that made me pop his balloon.
I can feel that. No offense to you, Brian, but it's just like you really let it on thick on a lot of the ladies. And I think at that point, you have to try to decipher whether it's performative or whether it's genuine. And so the way that she interpreted it was like, it's a lot, which is interesting because her body language didn't really show that. She seemed to be impressed by that. But I think the more and more he did it, it felt like, okay, is this too good to be true? And, you know, we all have skepticisms because people sell themselves really well in the beginning.
Let me see what else. But he was great. The conversation was great. It just didn't seem like the words had value behind it. So that's what led to the process of elimination.
Okay. And then Eric, we kind of saw this time around, you weren't super super fake, I guess we could say, but maybe it's a better selection. I don't know, what was it this
I
time
mean, you did
around?
have a pretty good selection this
Okay.
time for sure. Yeah, so
Got it.
that helped. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Well, I know.
There were a few ladies that I thought Eric was going to match with, but he definitely chose his type based on his previous match.
Everyone just kind of wants to jump right into things already. So, obviously, since you guys have matched on the show, have you guys gone on a date? Have you hung out? All that good stuff?
Yeah, we've gone on multiple dates.
Oh my God.
Multiple.
We've hung out.
Okay, okay. You said multiple.
Multiple dates, yeah.
Oh, Jocelyn, you want to hop in there? Let me know about how.
Jocelyn don't want to be here, Arlette. Jocelyn does not want to be here. Her body language is stiff. Oh, my brother Eric.
The first date went?
The first day was really cool. It was right after we had the recording there. We went to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay. Who chose that spot?
I tried to take her. I was looking for a nicer restaurant.
Okay.
But I was really impressed with the fact that she was just happy to go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
That's
which
right.
I think that told me a lot about her initially.
Okay.
It just says that, yeah, I'm just chill and you don't have to try to impress
Aw,
me.
they look nice together. They look really good together. Oh, man, I hope.
God. Okay, so she chose Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, well, she saw it and she was like, yeah, let's just go
Oh,
there.
okay. And then, so this was right after the shooting, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. And then from there, like, how did things go? How'd you guys, like, how was the communication? How'd you go about planning the second date?
Oh.
Let me let her speak.
Jocelyn?
Jocelyn, what's going on?
I'm sorry. So after that, we kept in contact. It was a lot of FaceTiming and a lot of just a lot of communication because we live in different states, different time zones, and we also have different schedules as well. So we kept in contact.
That's how me and my wife got together. FaceTime, Instagram for 6 months.
As much as possible. I would call him in the mornings. He would call me between his
Yep.
his appointments. Like whenever he was working.
Appointments.
What is it called? Appointments.
Appointments.
Yeah. So he would call me between. So whenever we had time, we would contact each other, and it worked very well. Our second date was to Dave and Buster's, I believe. I think our second date was Dave and Buster's. He came to Austin, and we had a great time. Yeah.
Okay. So,
One thing about Eric, he's an intentional man. He was, I think, for the last connection he had, which that didn't work out too well, but he was like willing. He was really willing to just put his efforts forward. Really intentional guy.
how soon after did you go over to Austin?
Well, we matched on the 1st of June.
Okay.
And so we spent 2 weeks on FaceTime getting to know each other, asking
Yeah.
questions and all that stuff. And then I was traveling, working. And so we ended up, I ended up coming to Austin, I think, on the 26th.
Oh, wow.
So-
Okay.
Yeah. Was it 26th? 24th to 26th or so, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Nice.
then, just spent a week.
Oh, wow. I'm like already upset because I don't feel like it worked out. I'm not trying to jump the gun, but it's just her body language isn't giving me any vibes that she's really all in. But these pictures and these videos show that he really liked this woman. Man.
Before we were going to do something else.
Okay, so the whole week you were out there in Austin, you guys were kind of like going out, doing different things.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay, so Dave and Buster's was one of them that you did out there.
Dave and Buster's was the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? Any other fun stuff?
Well, she showed me some places that she was fond of.
Okay.
Some place by the, it's like a river. What's the name of that river place that we went to?
It's like Lady Bird Lake. It was like a boardwalk.
Ladybird
It was
Lake.
pretty nice. He bought Capri. Capri's like really cool, yeah.
Yeah. She's allergic to Capri, by the way.
Uh-oh.
I am.
Oh my gosh, what happened?
I got hives. It was actually really bad.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Like I don't know how allergies work with cats and
Immediately.
stuff. like-
Immediately.
Immediately.
wow.
Yeah, like I broke out in hives after Capri like touched me.
Hives ain't no joke.
It was, yeah.
Okay, so it was like he had. Sorry, is it a boy or a girl?
It's a girl.
A girl. Okay, so so she had to like touch you in order for that to happen, or was like just like being in the same area.
I really truly, it's never happened to me before. Capri,
Oh my
like,
gosh.
I don't know how it happened. I was just playing with Capri. Next thing you know, I have like hives all over my arms and my legs. So,
Man.
Did you have to go to urgent care or like
thugged it out. I thugged it out a little bit. When I went home, I took a Benadryl and was knocked out. So it was,
Yeah,
okay.
It wasn't
facts.
too bad.
Got it. So that was the first and last time meeting Capri.
Yes. Oh no. Well, I think you've been around Capri since, right?
Okay.
Because
Probably. I don't know.
you came to the Airbnb to pick me up and stuff, so you would see her at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And it happened again, or you popped a
These
Benadryl?
little clues of just like the different things they've done for each other. Eric, I'm rooting for you, man.
Beforehand.
No, I kept her away.
Okay. Got it. Okay, so how was the time in Austin? Like, how was it? Like the time spending with each other, all that stuff.
It was cool. So I think he were downtown. I don't really want to give like where I live, but he was like downtown.
No, don't.
Yeah, he was a little bit further away from where I was staying. So
Look at
whenever I
that-
got off of
Look
work,
at that rec room. That is nice. I love pool. Billiards is number one.
I would come down and see him. I think we hung out every day for the most part.
Yeah, give or take a couple of days. Well, there was one day actually, I think,
One day, what?
because you had to go to Houston. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh.
My life, that's a story for another day. But yeah, I had to go to Houston. No, ever since this show aired, a lot of things have been happening. But I did have to go to Houston like one night, and then I came back, and that's the day I didn't see him. But other than that night, yes, I saw him every day.
Like every other day. Wow. Okay, sounds like you guys are spending a lot of time getting to really know each other, all that good stuff. Okay, and then so the week in Austin.
Right.
After that, have you guys kept communication? How was that going?
Yeah. So about 2 weeks in, I was very excited. We were getting to know each other. I had lists and lists upon lists of questions, and every time I met her up, I would ask her all these questions, just trying to get to know her.
Okay.
And I felt like we had a genuine connection, and it really hit me the fact that she wasn't really interested in like going to like nice places and was just happy to do regular things. So I thought it would be nice to do something special for her.
Okay.
So I asked her if she would like to go on a vacation trip to a European country of her choice.
Hold up.
And
Wait a minute.
Well, all right then.
and so we ended up.
I am him and he is me. Now, granted, I wouldn't be doing that because as a saved man, there are just certain things that I feel would open up a door that I wouldn't want to open up, right? I'm not saying that's everybody. Everyone's an adult. That's their choice. But that was the dream at certain points. Like, just take my girl on vacation trips. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will take my wife now, but yeah. That might be moving a little too fast, brother. I don't know. I mean, you guys did spend the weeks together, so you probably already created that bond. But yeah, Eric, I'm gonna call him All In Eric.
She decided on Santorini because she always wanted to go there. She'd never been there,
Okay.
and so I planned for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So after you guys, you said you got to know each other, speak all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Right away, you were like, all right, pick a European country.
Well,
Like-
I was already traveling, so I was
Okay.
I was on the road. I'd been on the road for a month, and so I was nearing the end of it. And I thought it was coincidental that I was ending up in Austin, and she lived in Austin. So I was saying at the end of this trip, I also need a break. So
Okay.
so it just worked out that way. But
Got it.
I guess it was just a lot. I mean, that can be a lot. You're spending every waking day with somebody, and you really want to gauge, is this worth it? But hopefully, it wasn't because they were tired of each other. She smiled on that part, so I wonder what that means.
yeah, I just wanted to, have fun and go out and do something adventurous together.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Santorini, Greece. What made you pick that place? Like, and what? First of all, let me backtrack. Were you shocked that someone who you just met was asking you like, "Girl, let me take you out of the country"? Like, how was that?
It was definitely a shocking question. I haven't been asked that so early within like knowing a person.
Okay.
Right.
I wouldn't say it was a love bomb, but hey, like I'm here for the delusion regardless. But I had
Oh, here we go. He might have laid it on too thick. But the thing is, when you're a man, you're intentional and you know what you want, and there's a timeline in your mind to commit. You wanna lay all your cards out on the table, and I don't blame him. But maybe she's just not ready for that. Maybe not.
had a great time. Yeah.
Okay. So, I guess obviously at that time, I know you said you
This body language, and who's in the house that she's looking at? Why is she looking over? We had a great time, and what is it?
you don't want to say it was a love bomb, but obviously you were comfortable enough to be like, okay, I'll be okay with going out the country with him.
Or I'll be okay with getting a free trip. Not accusing you of that, sister, but that's right now it's looking, suspicious a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. And then so once you guys, got to Greece, how was that? Like, first of all, how was traveling together? Because, like, I know a lot of people are always like, man, traveling with someone really shows you how they are, all that stuff. Like, how was that?
That is, to be fair, why I did it.
Okay.
Was because we were getting to know each other, and so I was thinking to myself, let's. It's not to say that we're speeding it up, but it's just to like know for sure.
Okay.
And I've had this experience before, where you travel with someone, and through that experience, you get to really see,
He trying to work out those kinks early. It's just who wants to waste their time? Come on.
the literal shits and the metaphorical shits of who they are, and they get to see you as well. And so I think at that point you can make more.
If she grabbed that water bottle one more time, that water bottle is holding on to dear life, because that's what she needs. She needs that to just calm herself down. I'm just feeling that vibe.
Certain decisions about to proceed or not.
Okay.
To proceed.
So in the beginning, the traveling there, that was good for you guys. Like how, Jocelynn. I guess we'll start with you, Jocelynn.
Oh, Jocelynn. Oh boy.
She's shaking her head.
No, traveling there was great. We weren't really sitting next to each other all the time.
It's a booking error.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But overall, it was a great experience.
Is he braiding her hair?
What, the traveling was a great experience, or
Nice.
or the whole trip altogether?
Yo, what is she doing right now? I'm not liking this vibe. This feels icky right now, bro.
I was specifically talking about like the traveling there part. It was pretty cool. It was nice.
Okay.
It wasn't like any issues traveling there.
Got it. Okay. So now once
But being there, this is what she's getting to.
you guys have gone to Greece, did you guys have like a whole itinerary planned? Like who did the itinerary planning?
Eric?
I feel like you like to do that kind of stuff. Or
I deferred to her. I wanted to.
Okay,
I wanted to
good.
give her
Wow, look at that view. Who wouldn't enjoy this trip?
some options and see what she was into. But I think we tried to keep it loose so that
Okay.
every day would feel, to some degree, like a new adventure. You know.
Okay, so you guys
man, they got the real cinematic scenes with them just enjoying, frolicking, and being in Greece. I'm not prepared.
do too many like activities, or you didn't plan too much? Kind of.
I had an idea of an activity for each day.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but there was definitely food involved.
Absolutely.
I hope so.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, like, walk me through the trip. Like, what'd you guys do? How did it go?
Well, the first day we just went to a restaurant down from where we were staying, and we had a very nice apartment overlooking the city. You know, could watch the sunrise, watch the sunset. It was really nice.
I mean, like I was saying before, you know, when you're intimate with a person and, you know, it's something where you're now enclosed in a space with them and you're not married, just from my opinion, it might feel like a lot of pressure on somebody, especially being out of the country or not in your own confined space, or at least, you know, your own where you live. So you basically are like playing like you're married. So if she's already used the term love bombing, I don't even know if she's ready to be a wife per se, or even like a play wife right now. So that might have just been a lot for early on. He might have needed to vet her maybe like 3 more months or something.
We went on a boating trip to see some of the...
Wow, they in the water too?
Tinier islands.
Okay.
And yeah, I was just different restaurants.
Okay.
Really, yeah.
Nice.
Did y'all see her face right there? Wait a minute. I don't know if I'm picking that up wrong, but she seemed a little bit... Let me see here. Just check her face.
Trip to see some of the tinier islands.
Okay.
And yeah, I was just different restaurants.
Okay.
Really, yeah.
Nice.
Rented an ATV, and that's how we got around.
Very cool. So you had the ATV for the whole duration of the trip?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that was...
yeah. No, over there you could just ride ATVs, you know, like...
Wow.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I know,
cool.
like, I haven't been to Greece, but every time I look at Greece and, you know, other people's videos, I just see, like, a bunch of hills and houses on top of houses.
Yeah, no,
so
it's tough to navigate, for sure.
I bet.
Yeah.
That's what...
From the beginning of him being on the show, he's not lied about one thing. Everything that he said he would deliver, he's delivered. And I think that just based on our body language, I don't know if this is going to be a match forever, but he just needs to be in the right space to allow the right woman to show up and really appreciate all that he can offer. Not even just things, but just the fact that he's a man of his word, and he seems to be really intentional. I'll beat a dead horse with that, saying it really seems that's his whole MO.
I was like, hey, how y'all riding ATV out there?
Yeah.
Okay, and obviously, Jocelyn, you chose the place. So, like, did you have things in mind already that you're like, okay, when we get there, we have to do this? And were you guys able to do them?
Yeah, everything I wanted to do, we did. There was this area, like this town called Oya. It's where most of the houses are white, but there's a few blue tops.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
That was the main thing I wanted to do. So we saw that.
Beautiful. Wow.
And it was nice. We watched the sunset from there.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. And obviously, you know, I can tell, like, with the viewers and everyone and here, I can feel that there is quite a lot of tension going on. So how did that trip end? Or
Arlette, why are you always trying to get to it?
You know, let's get to it.
Get to it, brother. Get to it, because she's sitting there with the body language of the arms folded, unimpressed. So what'd you do, Eric? Can't put all the heat on her. What'd you do?
I'm feeling a lot of vibes right now, and I don't know if it happened on the trip, after the trip, or, you know, who wants to start it off?
We had our very first argument on the 29th.
Not you remembering the date.
Well,
He's a real specific dude. That's why he remembers the date.
Very detailed person.
Okay.
You know, I take a lot of notes. I try to be introspective, you know. So it wasn't really a big deal, but should I talk about it, or?
I would just like to say that we realized on this trip that we're not as compatible as we thought we were. We just had disagreements, and we just realized that we're great people, we're just not great for each other.
Oh, cut it off. But look at her face. Like, it's like, I don't even feel like there was this is just me projecting my assumptions. It feels like there wasn't an effort put forth. It feels like she let that dissipate because it wasn't that important to her. That's just what it feels like based on her body language. It doesn't feel like she was going to fight for this newfound love, if you will. I feel like he would have kept it going.
And I personally would like to leave it at that.
Oh.
Even I will be fair, I will be honest. I am to some degree
At fault.
stumped at the decision not to continue.
Oh.
And we've spent a lot of time throughout the argument working through, you know, the reactions, but never really addressing the initial cause. And, you know, it did start off with her just saying she wants to leave. And
I'm okay. Dr. SJ on. I had on. I'm sensing trauma from something else that has nothing to do with Eric. And based on her whole demeanor from the start of her being on the show and my impression of this woman, you know, we're all multi-layered, but it just feels like there's something else that triggered her where she's just like, I gotta go. So there's like either there's abandonment or there is like neglect. There's something there that has caused her to react this way, where there's no turning back. There's no second chance because it was such a short amount of time. So how can there be a second chance? You know, there wasn't really a first.
The first disagreement, she said,
that was the second disagreement. The first disagreement was when I came to her place.
Austin.
The first time, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I was staying at an Airbnb. But on the last day, I decided we were going to go over there and pack and stuff. But, you know, everything was everywhere, messy. She seemed like she was doing a lot. So I wanted to step in and help. So I was going in to move some shoes around. And then she reprimanded me, I guess is the way to say it. And just like that would piss her off for me to move stuff around. And so
did you ask her before you just started moving
well,
stuff?
I didn't.
Hold up.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
But that's the thing.
Oh, see, it's tough when you're single a long time and you have a way. I think I spoke about this in his other matches. Like, he has a way he does things as a single guy, and he's trying to fit someone else into that part of his life where they have their own things. And I believe she's a little bit younger. You see her drinking the water. She's like sips tea. That's kind of her expression. She's like, I'm not. So those things annoyed her. And because she's on the younger side, I think maybe she's not at the place in maturity where they wouldn't bother her as much. She's still at a very potent place in her life where I need you to stay out of my space and I need you to be over there 10 feet and give me the room to be myself, as opposed to, I mean, I don't like how he kind of just be doing stuff, but I'll accept it for now. He'll learn. It takes a level of just growing up to get to that space where things don't bother you as much and they're not as high stakes, you know, because that's little stuff.
Is, you know, I didn't want to make a big deal of it. She asked me to take the trash out.
Okay.
And I did. But I also felt like she had said to me that she would like to keep an open space, a safe space where I could just tell her things in the moment. So I think for me, it was also a good point to test that out. You know, is it okay for me to tell you that the way you're saying that to me made me feel some type of way? Okay. You know, so.
So obviously you guys worked through that
Worked through it, yeah.
You went to Greece afterwards still, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and we talked about it a bit at the airport. And then, yeah, we went on a trip. Everything was great up until, I think, the fifth day or so.
Couldn't even last a week? A week?
Yeah, I don't want to go into too many details just out of respect to her as well. Yeah. But I think that at some point I mean,
she rolling her eyes too. She rolling her eyes? Why are you even here, sis?
Okay.
You know, so
So obviously you guys worked through that
Worked
one.
through it,
'Cause
yeah.
you went to Greece afterwards still, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and we talked about it a bit at the airport, and then we went on a trip. Everything was great up until I think the fifth day or so. I don't want to go into too many details, just out of respect to her as well.
Yeah.
But I think that at some point
Rolling her eyes. Who is she looking at? Who's there? Is it a sister? Is it a friend? Is it mom? Who is she looking at?
So, she wants to go slow, which is fine. I was trying to be respectful of that as a...
No. See, this is where I don't support that, because once again, I think people really underestimate the power of intimacy. I'm assuming they were intimate. I'm just assuming. To go on a trip like this, you are not taking anything slow. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't. Anyone would love the lifetime opportunity to go to a free trip to Greece, but that can't be a good enough reason to go with somebody you don't feel compatible with, because you knew it before you got on the trip. That's the part that's unfair. And for you, Eric, it's a discernment issue right now, brother. It's discerning and seeking God to understand, like, listen, this woman don't really feel me like that based on my behavior bothering her so much, and us having to work through this, work through that in only a matter of like a month's time, it seems. So it's like too much too soon, too much infighting too soon, and not enough getting to know and nurturing the love, and using, using more spiritual ways to get through things as opposed to just like your own strength.
Boundary, but I felt that I'd been just going on at her speed for most of the time. So I also wanted to set some boundaries to help me respect her boundaries. So I think that's where the initial communication malfunction occurred, perhaps. And she
over there laughing. Somebody's talking to her.
To backtrack, I when people argue, everyone argues a certain way. My way of calming down is to take breaks and move away and relax, write things down, and then come back and talk about them. And I told her this in the beginning. We were trying to figure out our argumentative styles. So when this happened, I took a break and I went to sit on a stoop. And
I'm gonna bet you $1 million that she did not like that, and she came with the fire. She came with the fire. You gonna sit like, I don't know if that's her. We'll see.
And so while I was there just talking to a friend of mine, she sent me a text that she wanted to leave and asked if I could take her to the airport.
This is in Greece.
That was in Greece.
So the neglect, that's the thing. She didn't do the fire thing. She did the abort the situation, because he was being avoidant according to her perspective. So therefore she doesn't want to waste her time anymore. Oh, there's like trauma on all sides here.
Okay.
About the fifth day or so. And so I was just like, well, we have an ATV, first of all, so I can't drive you to Greece. But I didn't want to do it. I said, if you want to go, you can go. But I asked her not to go. I said, just take a moment, calm down, relax. And
Eric, it's very seldom will you get a woman who will respond well to calm down, relax. Type it in the comment section here if you're a woman. Would you be okay with a guy saying calm down, relax? I use any other phrase for the most part. I have made the mistake of saying calm down, and I'm married, but yeah.
And then you can decide later on. So that was kind of where things started spiraling.
Okay, so Jocelynn, Eric kind of touched on a bit that at one point during the trip, I believe you said on the fifth day, you said that, yeah, I'm leaving, all that stuff. What led you to come to that point?
She don't want to get into it.
What led me to come to that point was...
She about to drop a whole bomb. I feel like it's going to be a nasty bomb, like something that's going to be like, oh.
How we disagreed, we said words that were hurtful to each other. And I held grudges against him, which caused me to be uncomfortable while being there. And I didn't want to be uncomfortable on a vacation when it's supposed to be a good time. The way we handled the situation in general just showed ourselves. Like I showed off, he showed off, and then it just wasn't a comfortable environment to be in, especially
Trauma.
for it to be in a different country and we don't really know each other. I just didn't feel at ease being there for more days with him. So I felt like at the time, the best way to get out of an uncomfortable situation is to leave. I'm not saying that was the best decision. Maybe I could have stayed and talked to him and talked it out. But at the time, I did what felt right to me.
Okay. And so you did actually end up leaving?
Yes, I left.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then so after you left, have you guys been in any type of contact, any communication? You have?
Yeah, so after we left, Eric still had to come back to my apartment because we shared a suitcase coming there. So he still came back to my apartment. We talked it out. We hugged. Like, we had like every discussion, every disagreement we had, we talked about off camera, and I've apologized. He's apologized. A lot of things were already discussed. So when he came back to the apartment, like, it was fine. At least in my head, it was fine. I walked him to the door. It was cool. Like, in my head, it was cool. And even afterwards, when he flew back to Las Vegas, I checked on him to make sure he landed safely, making sure he's getting sleep.
Well, that's the least you could do. I mean, yeah. It just seems like it didn't work out, guys. Oh, man. Womp womp.
me he has more appointments. So we did keep in contact for the day after when we landed back in the States.
Okay, I see here. Jocelynn, you stated, like, you know, you guys were having disagreements. You were saying, like, hurtful things to one another, all of that. How was it, like, dealing with those disagreements?
It was aggravating. We were disagreeing on things that we were disagreeing about the boundaries that we both set for each other, which is just very childish on both of our end. But
when I say maturity, she's admitting it, so I have to give her props for that. But, you know, at what cost, right? This could have been a person you could have worked that stuff through and not let the, you know, petty disagreements get in the way of love, honestly.
That we chose to react off of our emotions at the time. So, yeah, in the morning time, I didn't really think that the situation was as bad as it was, but in the morning time, like, Eric had like left, and I think you were doing laundry. I mean, he had things to do. I don't really want to say he was just up and left, but just that entire day, for the most part, we didn't really speak. It was either he was in the room and I was in the living room, or he was out shooting footage, or he was out doing laundry. So we just really weren't talking on the day after we had that huge disagreement. It was to the point, it was almost as if we were avoiding each other.
When I say avoidant behavior, that's not mature behavior. To avoid means that you give enough time for it to be, you create a scenario in your head that's not actually the scenario, because neither one of you are addressing it directly.
And it was just weird.
So you got up the next day and just says,
well, I told her beforehand that I had to do laundry. I'd run out of clothes. I travel with a bag, you know. So I went out to do laundry. I went out running 3 miles up the hill. I was tired. When I came back, I went to bed. But before I went to bed, we'd made a plan, something she wanted to go see, about 5 p.m. or so.
okay.
And I'd slept through it. And when I woke up, I asked her, hey, you still want to go do that thing? And she's like, no. So I was like, okay, well, if you don't mind, I'm going to go and shoot some pictures or something. I'd lost the key to to the apartment. So I had to go back and look for it. So that's what I did instead. So I was going back to the location where I'd run to. I found the key. I came back. And
Thank God you found that key, brother. Ooh, in another country?
that's then where we had another set of conversations. Because she kind of called me to the couch and like, hey, what's going on? You know? And so I told her, I was like, there's nothing is wrong. I'm fine. I just feel like I have to be a bit more distant about cuddling and, you know, kissing, because it feels sometimes when I try to do it, it seems like you're uncomfortable. You kind of back away, you know.
It's it's the body language I picked up in the pool. It's like, she wanted this trip, guys. She's just not that into him. She, you know, it sounds good. It's great on paper, but Eric, you got to be with a woman who really wants to be with you, man. It can't even, she'll be beautiful. The woman you find will be, she'll be beautiful, but that can't be the only, you know, hook, line, and sinker, because it's got to be mutual, and you got to see the signs, brother.
She wants to kiss. She doesn't want to make out, you know, things like that. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to be too overbearing. So I'm going to kind of create a little bit of a balance.
Did y'all pray together, though? I get it. I get the kiss and making out. Did y'all pray together? Did y'all pray before the day? Did you pray, you know, during the day? Did you pray before you went to bed? Did you pray? That's my question.
Boundary, still want to go do things, you know, but she didn't wake me up, and she said that I should have set an alarm. So, you know, I called her passive. I said that was a passive statement because we're in this together. So, you know, wake me up.
Here she's sipping the tea again. Her water bottle is the tea. Okay, Jocelynn. Okay.
And yeah.
So all of this.
And the smirk. There's somebody there. There's like somebody over in the kitchen or something. There's somebody over there like saying, what he talking about? It has to be. It has to be.
Before she said, I'm leaving?
No, she'd already said she was leaving in the afternoon.
Okay.
So she just decided. I mean, this is literally, I went outside to take a break, and she sent me a text, I'm going to the airport. It was so abrupt. It caught me off guard. So I was like, you know, like, what's this nonsense?
Right.
Nigerian and me came in, and I was like, you know, I don't understand what you mean you're leaving. Go take a break and relax. If you want to get an Airbnb, go get an Airbnb. You don't leave. You know, there's nothing to leave.
So how long did you guys have this trip booked for?
7 days.
7 days, okay. And then Jocelynn, you ended up leaving on the 5th day, or the 6th day, or what day was it?
Was it the 4th? Was it the 5th day?
6th.
I left on the 6th day? Okay.
You left on the 6th day, yeah.
I see.
You couldn't thug it out for one more day? You thugged it out with the highs. You couldn't thug it out for one more day? Shout out to my wife's and I podcast called One More Day.
Okay, so with him, with that thing you guys wanted to do, you didn't want to just like wake him up, or what was going on with that part?
So we already knew that there was tension before then, before he took the nap, before everything, like the big argument happened the day before. So when he went to sleep, I don't know, it's like I don't really know how to explain it. I could have woken him up to answer your question.
Of course you could have. Of course. But the behavior between you two is a bit childish at this point. It's kind of like you're on this grown person's trip, but you guys are acting like juveniles a little bit, man. That's disappointing.
I could have woken him up. However,
You didn't.
It was already talked about what I wanted to do. It was already a time that we set.
Come on, Jocelynn. Come on. Everyone is accountable for the success of a relationship between two people. Let me say that again. Each person is accountable for the success of a relationship between two individuals. So if you knew that he was dead dog tired and made it a point to not wake him up when you wanted to do something, then either you didn't really want to do it with him, or you didn't want to kind of put your pride aside and say, let me actually put my best foot forward and help him help us. Other than that, you just in your own feelings, and then you just left to do nothing. And then he asks you, do you want to do it? And you say no. It's like, that's not even the truth. You wanted to do it. It's just that you wanted him to be Mr. Mind Reader, and you wanted him to be Mr. Oh, I'm just going to drop it because I know. Like, I mean, you're on the trip to Greece, for goodness sakes. You're on a trip. This guy values you. The least you could do is say, you know what? Let me wake him up. I'm not in the best spirits with him, but maybe we can work it out this day. Maybe today can be different. But like you said before, you held the grudge. And so it caused you to have this beautiful moment turn into just, dust.
I don't know. I'm just considerate. So if I would have done that to somebody else, or somebody else would have planned something that they really wanted to do, and
what did I just say, y'all? You're considerate? You may very well be a considerate woman. You're on a trip to Greece that he fully financed. The least you could do is put your pride aside and say, hey, let's get up. Well, let's do this. He would have gotten up. He would have. I don't even know this man. He would have gotten up for you.
They're dependent on me for transportation. I would have made sure that I was present for that moment.
Now, Jocelynn, you sound ungrateful now. You're dependent on him for transportation to get around Greece, but you couldn't wake him up because he's supposed to just know to wake up when he overslept. What's going to happen if you got married to this man? Is it every time that he, misses the mark, you throw it in his face? Like, you missed the mark. You should know. You should be. That's not even human interaction. That's not even how we should be with one another. Not for somebody you care about. But like I said, the evidence, the proof's in the pudding. She didn't care. She wasn't that into him in order to put that effort forward. She wanted to be worshipped and adored by all means necessary, it seems. And, I could be wrong, but what she's saying, it's indicating that for me.
I never woke Eric up ever. I don't wake people up out of their sleep.
Just like she didn't want him moving the shoes, she doesn't want to be woken up out of her sleep. That's really what she's saying here. Jocelynn doesn't want to be bothered. That is the poster for this episode. I do not want to be bothered until I send for you. That's the energy that I'm getting from her. And she might be a great person. She might have a great heart, but she's got to put away these little things that annoy her so much, where there's a point of no return. It's like, give people, there's no grace. There's no grace here. I'm going to say it again. You're on a trip to Greece, all expenses paid. How did we miss grace? How?
I would hate for somebody to wake me up out of my sleep.
What I just...
We actually talked about this as well. Like, that's something that we just don't do.
Oh, that's different.
I don't wake people up. That's one thing I don't like. If you oversleep, like, you oversleep. Like, it wasn't a life or death situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you overslept and...
But you know why it was life or death? It was life or death for the forming of your relationship, for cultivating the connection. It killed the connection because you weren't willing to put your pride aside. You thought about how you would handle it, but didn't let this man handle it the way that he would naturally handle it. So you made the decision for him. Therefore, you didn't even give room for anything to be repaired. You didn't give room for it.
He overslept. I was upset back in the day, like, we didn't go to something I wanted to do. Okay. Like, it was fine.
So would you say like that?
But it's not fine. You're doing all of that. It's not fine. You're bothered by it. You didn't like it. You're expressing to us that you wouldn't want it done to you. And then you're saying it's fine. This is where you get into a space of, am I going to be willing to change and mold and learn from this person? Or am I going to just stick with my own ways that aren't working? I don't think that's working for you, sis. I don't think it's working. So you need some more room to grow here and give people the leeway to, do a dance with you. Okay, I like that. I don't like that. Oh, I can compromise on that. I can find a way to kind of do it a little bit your way and a little bit mine, but not like it's my way. I don't wake people out of their sleep. Don't wake me up. It's that ain't a partnership. That's a dictatorship.
That was like the last straw for you, him oversleeping?
No, the last straw was the day before. I don't really know. So with me, it's like once my mind is made up on something, it's pretty much made.
No grace.
So when I booked the flight, it was kind of like already like anything he did after that was kind of like, okay.
What?
Trauma.
I see. And I'm leaving
So
soon anyway.
On this 7-day trip, or 6, I think you said you left on the 6th, on what day did you realize, yeah, this is it for me, I'm done?
That's a great question.
If she says day 1, I'm getting out of this seat.
It wasn't. Let me see. Give me a second. I don't really remember what day it was when it hit me like I'm done. It was just a feeling that I had when I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not arguing anymore. I'm not being upset anymore. It wasn't necessarily like, oh, this day I got mad. It was just really like a feeling like I don't want to feel like this. I don't have to feel like this, So.
But if you felt like that, if you were that fed up, you shouldn't have taken this trip, because the way that you're portraying it to us is that ever since you guys squashed the beef about him moving the shoes, you were annoyed before you got on that plane. So why even put yourself in a position where you were vulnerable, felt uncomfortable in another country? This is where we have to use critical thinking and accountability. It's not worth it if it's just for the grandiosity of the gesture. It's just not worth it. And then, most men are left wandering. Like he was dumbfounded, rightfully so, because you went on the trip and now you're telling us that this was built up, even though you guys said you squashed it. It's actually not squashed. The grudge is there. The damage is done. And you just told us all that once you have your mind made up, that's it. So sorry for you. It goes only but so far until you're ready to lift up the veil to say, I'm going to let this go forever. I don't think you're there yet.
So that's really what happened. I don't know what day that was. I really don't know. It was probably the day I booked the flight, to be honest, but I just...
Day 1.
I had a feeling. I'm like, I don't want to argue with this man anymore. I don't want to be uncomfortable in a foreign country with this man anymore. So
not this man, Eric. With Eric. Why is he this man? He wasn't this man when you were jumping in his arms. He wasn't this man when you were going to Buffalo Wild Wings. He wasn't this man. So you guys needed to take more time to get to know each other. This was too soon. All of that. All everything, even the intimate parts. I'm not even talking about intimacy. I'm talking about just even some of the affection. Reserve it to see if that's even somebody you want to give yourself in that way to. It's precious, more than people really know, because once you're all in, you're all in. There's no taking any of that back.
That's really what it was. But afterwards, I didn't want to have a dating relationship with Eric anymore, because he's still, I think Eric...
You see Eric's body language with his hands? Eric, I don't know you, Eric, but I feel like what I'm sensing right now is that you are just really trying to figure out, where do these things go wrong for me? I've attained all these wonderful things. I'm a man who works. I'm a man who has means. I'm a man who is confident and chivalrous and all these different things. But where am I missing the mark? And I think it's just where you're picking. It's your radar has not attracted you to that woman who from the minute that you meet her, you know she's going to be for you, all in for you, not just you all in for attracted to her, if that makes sense.
Can still be a great person. So I was hoping that we can have a platonic, just cordial friendship.
What? Who wants that? You're on a trip. Do I have to say it, y'all? You're on a trip in an apartment, 2 adults, sharing a bedroom. We can't go back to platonic. You're past that. You lock lips, we're not platonic.
Afterwards, I know I didn't want to date him anymore, but I didn't want it to be as if he's out of my life completely.
Yeah, why can't he be out of your life completely? Is it that, once he's out of your life, the things that you were afforded with him are gone? Because that's what it sounds like. It's like, I don't want him out of my life, because friendships can be very transactional. If not all friendships are transactional, there's something we're getting out of each other. It could be just camaraderie, laughter, humor, business deals, all types of things. This is not necessarily an unconditional love, like a parent to a child. So what are we getting out of this? If you want to be platonic after all of that, we're getting nothing. You're gaining, because then he's thinking maybe, just maybe, I can convince her that she made a mistake. A lot of women know their power in that way. It's not worth it, though, to string somebody along like that, and it's not fair.
He is cool. Like, Eric is a cool guy. Like, honestly, he's cool. He has a lot of skills, plays instruments. He's a really cool guy, honestly. He has a lot of great qualities about himself.
She's not that into you. At this point, I would have wished her well. But then again, I wouldn't have invited her on a trip if we had that much arguments before. No way. At one point, I would have. I'm going to admit that. At one point, I would have in my life. And then, thank God for an epiphany.
I just didn't want to date him anymore. So, yeah.
Okay. Not good enough for her. When somebody's not good, this is not good enough for me. It's just not cutting it for me. Yeah, you would have to get right back on that plane too.
Okay. Eric, anything you want to add to that? Just wrap this up.
Right.
He needs some milk.
See, nobody wants to hear this. This is not good news. Even this review I'm doing, I mean, I appreciate you guys watching, but this is not good to report. This is an example of people who don't know what they want, and they think they know what they want, but they don't know what they want, so they waste each other's time, and nobody wants their time wasted. Not BM, not Arlette, nobody wants their time wasted.
I take notes, so I have the dates. July 5th was the day we went to dinner. It was the day that we had a conversation. You asked me to tell you what my expectations were of you. I told you that I would like more hugs. I said you're bad at hugs. Remember that?
She's sipping her tea again. Jocelynn, come on, man. Come on. It's all in your body language.
So she said, yeah, I'm going to work on that, And I told her that I felt like every time I gave her hugs, maybe she was feeling like it was trying to lead to something else. I'm like, no, the hug is really just a hug. Like, just put your arm around my head, and that's all it needs to.
No. Eric, man to man, bro. If you got to ask, it's just not there. If you've got to ask her to be affectionate, which is really what you're saying, forget the hug. To put your hand around my head, she's got to be attracted to you. She's got to be enamored with you to do that naturally. And when it happens, it's such a beautiful thing because you guys both know that you're locked in. But the minute you ask, because it's void, you have to really do some critical thinking to understand, why is she in your presence in the first place? What is she gaining from you if she can't even be affectionate with you, and this is a romantic connection? You don't need any more female friends. For what? Not for what you're pursuing right now. You're stacked. You're done. You're at capacity with that.
To be. you know? And so she's like, yeah, I'll do better. And that was that. The dinner was great. The next morning is when I went for the run early, and I wake up early, I go for the run. So when I came back, she wanted to have a conversation that afternoon because she said things were seeming weird and I seemed distant. So I was trying to explain.
I think what I'm gathering is she felt convicted. She knew from the start that this was not her man. And so her spirit man, or as I say, the Holy Spirit, her spirit man literally said to her, girl, what are you doing on this trip? You know that this is not your man. This is not your husband. Why are you using all of his resources to, quote unquote, spend time with him when you don't even want to be with him? So let me sit him down to let him know, like, listen, I don't want to seem like a gold digger. I don't want to seem, but you already committed to the trip. And your inner spirit man said on day 6, I just can't fake the funk anymore.
Explain to her why I was distant. First of all, I was tired, but second of all, I'm just trying to give you some space, and I don't want to feel like I'm overcrowding you, essentially. And it was literally within 20 minutes of that conversation, she sent me the text, can you take me to the airport?
No. And is she grabbing the bottle again, sipping the tea again? This is immaturity. This is an example of immaturity. She's not ready. She's not ready. She's ready to just have a good time. She thought that this was like I'm not calling Eric a girl, but like a girl's trip. Like, oh, let me just go a little trip with, just a little Grease moment. He's looking at it like, I'm courting you. But the way he went about it, it needed to have a stronger spiritual foundation. There's no way you can avoid this, guys. It has to have spiritual roots in order for it to grow. Otherwise, it's based on physicality and things that are not important. It's on a rocky foundation from the start. Here, she grabbed that water bottle.
So it came out of nowhere, literally.
Okay. All right. Well, after this trip, did you guys, I know you said, did you guys communicate at all after this trip, or was she left and that was it? I think you had mentioned you guys shared a suitcase, so eventually you had to see him again. So how did that happen?
It was cool. Like, honestly, so from everything that we just expressed to us getting back to Austin, we had conversation. Everything seemed fine. We came to understanding that we both said things that didn't need to be said. We both did things that didn't need to be done. Like, we've had conversations.
But in all, I've seen Eric take accountability for his individual doing. He has said a few times that he didn't ask, he shouldn't have done this. He said a few things. Maybe he shouldn't have said that. Maybe he shouldn't have laid it on thick. But every time Arlette asks you a question based on what your feeling is, you have to insert we. I would have appreciated if you, Jocelynn, would have just said what your part was to play in the demise of the connection. Therefore, we get an understanding as an audience of how to avoid the pitfalls of the role that you play. What he did is what he did. And it seemed like he was owning up to that, but it's hard to take full accountability when you can't expose yourself at all. You'd rather not talk about it, and we both made decisions. Let's cut this short. Why am I here? Cut the cameras. I'm in my Fozzie Bear throw blanket, and I would like to get off the camera. That's the energy you gave this entire time. You smiled like maybe once, and the other times were in reference to him speaking truth about what happened. But yet you're not saying anything. So it makes you seem a bit disingenuous because we didn't get to understand what was oh so bad outside of the fact that you just were not that into him.
And everything was fine in my eyes. I thought everything was fine. When we got back to Austin, we talked about the trip. We said our goodbyes. He got his stuff, walked him to the door. He left. Yeah, and the next day he took a flight. I checked on him. I was like, "Hey, are you at the airport? Did you make it there on time?" He was like, "Yeah." It was just regular. It was regular conversation, as if you're checking in on a person who's taking a flight. That's really what it was. I made sure he landed.
But meanwhile, I was like, why are you checking in on me after you've just walked away from me?
Right. Conviction. She knows she was wrong. She knew she was wrong. Let him talk.
Like, I'm like, the thing was weird to me because I was like, if this is a simple disagreement two people can have, we've apologized to each other, so we continue. It's 2 arguments. It's not enough to decide you don't want to speak to someone anymore.
So in your head, after that trip and, you know, after she was checking in on you, you were still in the thought process that you guys were still dating?
After the I'm sorry, I forgive you, I forgive you, I thought, okay, yeah, we're back on track. We've sorted it out.
Okay.
So
how did you find out that you guys are no longer dating?
well, she's
Jocelynn, don't pick up that water bottle, sis. Come on. That water's done. Is somebody refilling your water bottle? Man.
sent me some pictures to edit. I edited the pictures.
There's 2 drops in the back, and now she's looking shocked. Here we go. She was like, I didn't send you no pictures.
Sent them back to her. She went to London, which we by the way, we had a whole day because she booked the trip at 6 p.m. on the 6th. So we had still the whole day to spend together. We were sitting on the couch. We were cuddling on the couch.
This
finally.
is in Austin?
No, this was still. This
so
was
you're
the day after.
backtracking back to
I'm
Greece.
backtracking, yeah. So she's already had a decision to leave. She's already bought the tickets. There's nothing we can do about that.
Okay.
Wow, you bought the tickets, didn't even let him know.
We've apologized to each other. She's more calm. I'm more calm. So from that point on, I'm like, okay, well, maybe everything's fine.
Okay.
So the next day, when she
leaves.
6th, the day she's leaving, we're still cuddling on the couch. Like we watched a movie together. We went to breakfast. So that's where the confusion is, because it's like, if you're that angry, why are you so comfortable still being next to me, still cuddling with me? See what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it just creates a lot of confusion for me.
From Austin to Las Vegas, she said, obviously she's checking on you, make sure you get there okay. In your head, everything's still good.
No way.
When I got to her apartment, I had to ask her one last time. I'm like, tell me straightforward. Are we
Right.
still good? Are we not good? Are we not dating?
Yeah.
She's like, no, I have no interest in further dating.
Ooh.
I was like, all right, sounds good. I won't bring it up anymore.
Got
And
it. So that was the last point.
From that point on, yeah, it was done. But the next morning, she's still checking on me on my flights.
What?
So again, see what I'm saying? I'm like, if we're
No. Jocelynn, it's okay to be wrong. This is like a case of entitlement gone wrong, it feels. It feels like you felt entitled to him and felt entitled to his adoring you and, just really being there for you in every way. And you might get that treatment from a lot of men, as attractive women get certain types of attention that other women might not receive. And so there is this entitlement, like I said. And so this is definitely entitlement gone wrong.
done, why are you checking on me?
I mean, she
Right.
said she thinks you're a cool person.
No, Arlette. No. Sorry, Arlette. No. Don't even think about it. You told me what my value was when you left a trip that we should have really gotten to know each other on. You told me what that was when you said, I'm booking the flights. I'm not saying nothing to him. I'm not communicating with him. I'm pissed. I'm holding a grudge. He's over with. I'm done with this. Next. And then you want to check on him? No.
Stand, but
You're a human being that she cared for at one
I'm not
point.
looking for no friends. I got plenty female friends.
Exactly.
Just my friends.
Okay.
So it's like, if we're not dating, like,
Wait a minute. I'm telling y'all, who is that she's talking to, guys? She's making the faces like a sister friend. Somebody's over there. Look at her.
still good? Are we not good? Are we not dating?
Yeah.
She's like, no, I have no interest in further dating. So I was
Okay.
like, all right, sounds good. I won't bring it up anymore.
Got
And
it. So that was the last point.
from that point on, yeah, it was done. But the next morning, she's still checking on me on my flights. So again, see what I'm saying? I'm like, if we're done, why are you checking on me?
I mean, she said she thinks you're a cool person.
I understand, but
You're a human being that she cared for at one
I'm not
point.
looking for no friends. I got plenty female friends that are
Confused
just my
face.
friends.
Okay.
So it's like,
Looking at the person. Now she's going to be like, what is he talking about?
we're not dating.
Somebody over there coaching her, having the peanut gallery comments, thinking like, girl, you dodged a bullet, da 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 da. Or there's a dude. I mean, it could be either or. It could be some guy she's dating now, or it could be like a family friend or girlfriend, some sister.
Like,
So you want to.
But think about that. Think about this. Think about this. Not only did she not want to be on the trip, she is showing signs of inconsideration, because she liked to use the word, she wants someone considerate of her, something that she wants people to understand. She wanted to do that trip the following day. He fell asleep. She didn't feel the need, or even, what is it called? She didn't feel like it was her responsibility to wake him up. Now we're on the recap show, and she couldn't give us, what is this? She couldn't give us 40 minutes in a space where she's sitting in a chair and she's just giving undivided attention. She has to get the attention. She has to have someone talking to her in the corner. She has to be looking over. There's a camera on you. But we, as the audience, and he, as the person who was pursuing you, couldn't get that time from you by yourself, undivided attention, maturity, taking it in and accepting it. There had to be something else distracting you. Because unfortunately, entitlement does that. It's all about you. So why should you put in effort? Why should you wake somebody up? Why should you let someone know that you booked tickets? You don't have to do that, because you are you. You've arrived. You that lady. We could be friends. And the benefit is I can jump in your arms and maybe hold your hand and maybe have a trip to Paris next time. But you don't deserve me.
Cut the losses
Cold
and
turkey,
move on.
that's it, we're done.
Yeah, which is what I tried to do. I just didn't respond anymore, and I was just, just letting it fizzle out. It's only been a month. That's not, anyone can recover from that.
Yeah.
There's no hard emotional
Right.
investment.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'm sorry, bro.
obviously we.
It's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much everything I had. Any final thoughts on your end? No, Jocelyn's like, no.
She's trying to get out of there quickly, like I told y'all. She's trying to be like, I did what I did to do. Follow me at Jocelynn, and
All right. So any upcoming projects that we should be on the lookout from either one of you, Jocelynn?
No, I don't have any upcoming projects coming up. Nothing.
Okay. She said, I'm going to stick to my 9 to 5. That's it.
Yeah, I got a 9 to 5. That's it.
I want more for you, sis. Not because there's anything wrong with a 9 to 5, but I want more for you in terms of how you see yourself. You could have all of that going on, but how you see yourself, I want you to turn up the value notch, and then you won't make decisions that can maybe sabotage something that could have been a good thing for you in general. And you'll speak about yourself differently. You will uplift yourself. You'll edify. You will think highly of yourself. Just take that time. Take that prayer time.
That's all I got going
Hey, we
right
love
now.
that too.
Yeah.
And then Eric, what about for yourself?
Nothing. Just still on the road, traveling, doing my training.
Okay.
Yeah, simple.
All right. Well, I do.
And Eric, brother, man, listen. I really, I want you to take a moment to think about the next woman you pursue. This is just from man to man, how I did it. And really seek God and let him show you that she is deserving of your time. And with that, I'm out. Peace, y'all.